Hey everyone. I just finished reading Aaron Keller's blog post about 5v5, 6v6 in Overwatch 1 and 2. And I have some opinions about it as a player and a fan of Overwatch. So first off, I think this sort of highlights that there are these fundamental tensions in Overwatch. And he recognizes that, and they've caused some problems. There's these tensions between what they want players to do and feel and how they want the actual gameplay to work. So one of them is they have this really strong hero identity. Like they want everyone to cosplay as Tracer. Tracer used to be the logo for Owl on the flag. They want people to think I'm already Tracer. And then they don't want people to play 6 Tracers because that's really frustrating. I know they had I believe an Owl game where it was a bunch of Tracers and a bunch of Lucios, and that was super frustrating for people. So they added hero limits. They had to make the sacrifice, strong hero identity, hero shooter. It's pretty cool, but they want the games to be fun. So that had to go. So another tension that they run into a lot is people want a deathmatch in Overwatch. They just want to go fight other people and they want to kill them and feel that experience of dominating their opponent. But also, Overwatch has this positional, objective-oriented shooter. And I think that's... They came up with that idea for Overwatch a long time ago, and I feel like they haven't exactly pushed it to its conclusion, but you can tell that they want it to be an objective-based game. They want the objectives to matter. They want positional play to matter. I remember when Overwatch launched, and I was super excited to see Reinhardt with a shield, because I was like, finally, an FPS where the direction you're facing matters, instead of just you whip around and you shoot a rocket out your ass, and that's fine. So in Aaron's post, he talked about, yeah, they have the hero limits. They had to make that sacrifice. Then they wanted to get rid of goats, basically. He doesn't say goats, but it was goats, right? People would pick 3 tanks and 3 supports, and it was super strong because they made tanks really good at standing on the point, and they made supports really good at helping them, and there was no room for DPS. Who cares about DPS? I mean, Blizzard cares about DPS, right? They super care because they just can't stop making DPS heroes, and there's a million DPS heroes, and they just cannot stop, and they just think they're so important, and they really want people to be able to play DPS, but also don't play it too much because then queue times get too long. So they wanted to get rid of goats. They forced 222 roll queue on everybody, and hey, that worked. But new problem. People don't want to play tank. Oh no, what are we going to do about it? And so he mentions their solution is 5v5. And, he had a really long explanation for it. So I think that I have some alternate solutions for why people don't want to queue as tank and why the queue times are really long. So I'll present my 7 ideas and also 2 crazy ones that nobody's going to like. So I started playing Overwatch in 2016. I've been playing it for a really long time. I'm a big fan. I've played it about 1,400 hours. About 1,000 of them are Moira, so you're going to get to hear my Moira bias. Most of the rest is Reinhardt and Sigma. I play a lot of... Well, I did play tank. I haven't so much lately. And I really hate DPS. I don't like playing it, so whatever. Screw you, DPS guys. So Aaron and Blizzard's problem is not enough people want to play tank, right? And really that turns into another problem. Queue times are too long. And I'm guessing that Blizzard has these analytics where they say, if people are in a queue for too long, or they queue flex or 2 roles and they don't get the role they want, or they don't play enough games in a session because queue times are too long, they probably don't spend as much money. And Blizzard is a business. They want people to spend money with their game. They want people to be happy and be happy spending money. And I want to be happy playing the game. I bet you all do. If we could figure out how to get people to queue, especially queue tank, that would probably help everybody out. So, some potential solutions. How do you get people to queue tank? Well, he talks about it in his blog post. You can make them. There's 1 fewer tank spot now. So there you go. That solves it. Hey, you got 2 DPS, 2 support, 1 tank. Now you got a game. Just make somebody not play tank. Easy. You just force it. However, this leads to, if you follow the logical conclusion, there's an even better solution. 4v4, 2 DPS, 2 support, no tank. Is that an Overwatch that you want to see? Is it an Overwatch you want to play? Go make some custom games, I guess. Go play those. Maybe you could do 3 DPS, 3 support, and it will be Overwatch 3, and you'll be the winner of game design. But I think they want people to play tank. I want to play tank. I want to make tank great again. So then they're like, well, how can we make people want to queue tank? And they're like, let's think of every idea we possibly can. I know, priority pass, loot boxes, experience. Well, I don't care about those things. If I'm queuing tank, I don't care about priority pass. I'll just keep queuing tank, and oh look, the queue times are really great because no one wants to play tank. I don't care about loot boxes and XP all that much. Maybe I'm not the target market. I don't spend a lot of money on Overwatch, but there are people who do. And as Aaron said in his post, it didn't fix things. And so I would suggest an alternate approach, which is make it more fun to play tank. Make people want to queue tank. I feel silly saying this, but as far as I can tell, they've never tried it. They've never tried it publicly. Maybe they tried it privately and then didn't launch their changes, and also he never mentioned them in his blog post. I don't know, but make people want to play tank. I don't know. I feel silly asking this, but if you look at, say, Reinhardt's balance changes throughout the history of Overwatch, they've never tried to make him more fun to play. They fixed Shatter. They gave him a little more health than armor and less health than armor or whatever. They made him want to charge off and die a lot more. But they never really changed him. All the tanks got reworked from Overwatch 1 to 2. They made him a little more durable, but that's about it. But they never said, I want to make it more fun for people to play tank. Like, Ryan is basically in the same state he was 8 years ago or so. So when you play tank, you can get in these situations where like your whole team dies or almost everyone dies and you're doomed. And it's really frustrating because then you have to play it out. Like, you try to run up to spawn, use maybe your one tank movement ability. They usually don't have very good movement abilities unless you're ball. And then you get killed. And so that sucks. And it takes a long time to kill a tank. They have a lot of hit points. So like you get this frustrating experience of being doomed to die, but you have to, let it happen. And you can, you get this feeling of my team isn't helping me. And I've definitely felt that playing as Ryan a lot. Like, if you can't handle me on my Moira, you don't deserve me at my Ryan. And it's just super frustrating to shield things and be swinging your hammer and clearing off the objective. And then you look around and the rest of your team is really far away. And you're like, what are you doing? Or your team is picking stupid fights and dying or something like that, or not healing you. And I think every tank has had this experience. And it's really frustrating. And the other thing is, I think Blizzard knows, but some people kind of want to just deathmatch. It's not the point of the game. The maps all have these names like King of the Hill, Payload. It's never kill the rest of the enemy team. And by the way, there's a payload like way over there in the distance. Don't worry about that thing. They want it to be objective based, but some people kind of just want to, shoot other people, use their cooldowns in random order. Perhaps you've seen some of them in a few games yourself. Maybe you've been that player. And if you just want a deathmatch, if you want to sit down, deathmatch and chill for a while, tank is not a good role to do that with. And you can test it yourself. When you're queuing, go play deathmatch just for fun while you're waiting. Pick one in tanks. Pick Ryan. It's a good learning experience if you've never done it. You will still get killed. You'll just get killed relentlessly because tanks are not the gods that I think they should be. They're just like regular dudes who have a couple hundred more hit points. And a lot of times they don't have very good abilities for directly fighting people, as silly as that sounds. So I propose that in general, what they should do is make tank players feel more powerful when they pick the tank role. They should make supports want to heal tanks. They should make DPS want to defend their tank and kill the enemy tank instead of just, whoever. And they should make all the players want to do these things on the objective. And I feel like it's not exactly tanks, but that's another weakness I see in the way that Blizzard has handled Overwatch. It's about the objective, it's about position, and then there's a lot of things that they could do to make people want to stand on the objective, and they just don't do them. I mean, just, touch the objective, you win the game. That's a ridiculous example, but they haven't pushed it far enough. It's the incentive to stay on the objective is basically the same as it was in beta, right? You stand on the objective, maybe something like ticks up or whatever, but that's about it. And in my opinion, attacking a tank specifically should feel like D-Day. It should feel like you're like, I'm going to come after this Ryan or Diva or whatever, and there are bullets and missiles and lightning bolts and everything coming after you, and it feels extremely difficult for one player to take on and especially kill a tank, because a tank should be really powerful. So maybe I'm putting words in their mouth. Maybe people will disagree with me, but I feel like the point of a tank is they stand on the objective. They get to it, they stand on it. They're really hard to remove from the objective. They have good damage mitigation. They have a big pool of hit points. You can't kill them with like a 1 or a 2 tap. They have ways to defend themselves, sometimes ways to heal. And they're really good at stopping the enemy from standing on the objective. And so you can see that through Ryan. Ryan stands on the objective, he has 1 billion hit points, he has a big shield, he can defend himself really well. And if someone tries to come on the objective, he hammers them and they die, right? He's pretty strong, but he could be a lot stronger. So my 7 ideas for what Blizzard could do to help tanks out, to make people want to queue tank, to make me want to queue tank. I would love to get back to playing tank again, although I love playing Moira too. First off, tank passive auras. And this would address the whole my team isn't helping problem. Blizzard created like the devotion aura. If anyone's ever played World of Warcraft or Warcraft 3 or anything like that, they've always had auras that go around heroes to passively improve things around them. So, plus armor, damage resist, regen, things like that. Lucio is a good example, right? And it absolutely boggles my mind that none of the tanks for a really long time had any kind of aura around them. I guess we kind of have Junker Queen, right? She gives you a little speed boost. We have Mauga. He gives you a little bit of lifesteal. But like Ryan doesn't give you anything. What makes a player want to stand next to the tank on their team? There's nothing there. And they could say, well, you should. It's, your tank's probably on the objective. You want to be on the objective. You want to help them. And it's like, make me want to. At this point, I think we can say after all these years, players still do not stand near their tank enough. Maybe it's time to take a more heavy-handed approach and make them want to stand with the tank. So give everyone, 100 armor or something like that if they stand near a tank, or have a different passive per tank. Some tanks offer regen, some tanks offer armor, some damage amplification or whatever. But give tanks a passive that makes you want to stand next to them. Similarly, if you want to encourage objective-based play, have a passive for the objective. Right now, if you stand on the payload, it heals you. It's like 3 HPS or something. Pretty lame, right? You may not know the payload heals you. Anyway, it does if you're on the attacking team. And great. Okay. Why isn't it more powerful? Like, you want to stand on the objective. It should give you some kind of advantage. Right now, it arguably gives you a disadvantage. Most of the objectives in the game are out in the open, and they're just like a flat rectangle. And so if you stand there, everybody in the whole world can shoot you from every angle. So like, why would you want to stand there? And there are players who want to deathmatch and they don't want to stand there. Understandably so. Make them stronger. Like if a DPS stands on the objective, give them plus damage. Give them, when Widow lands a shot, she stuns people for a half second or something like that. Give them some powerful, good reason to stand there, to support their team, to want to be on the objective. Or give DPS like increased power when they attack somebody on an objective. So they care more about deathmatching with the people on the objective than off. It's like more important to try and remove them. Give supports regen, give tanks additional health. Like, make me want to stand on the point as a tank. Make me want to play tank, and then I want to stand on the point. Make the rest of my team want to form a ball with me. Like, we all want to be on the point. My third idea is just massively buff tanks. Here's an easy solution. 200% health, 200% damage. Like giant Ryan. I don't know. Also 200% size, make him huge. But if you just made the tanks way more powerful, way more than the Overwatch 1 to 2 jump, just super powerful, that's probably too much, right? Are you imagining a 2x hit point, 2x damage Ryan? He swings his hammer for, 170 or something? That's stupid, right? 200 damage fire strikes. It's stupid. He'd be so powerful. A lot of people would play him. Oh no, it's so easy to queue for tank now. The queue times go down. And that's kind of what we saw with like V1 Mauga. He was so strong. He just minigun anybody. Anyway, we'll talk about him later. But if you just made the tanks more powerful, like just as an experiment, that would probably decrease queue times. Just buff them all an uncomfortable amount and see what happens. I bet it would drop queue times on tanks, and I bet it would drop queue times overall. Another idea, tell allies where a tank is all the time. So, you get the little chevron, but like really say, hey, the tank is here. If you're turned away from the tank, there's a chevron that's pointing like back in the right direction. Let's see, there we go, like this. It's like ding, 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 ding. The tank's over here. Maybe he blinks. Maybe it tells you what his health is, but the tank should be the focus. We should know where the objective is and where the tank is. The tank's the most important thing, right? But instead we just treat them like another player. Like treat them like they're really important. And similarly, another idea, tell the tank where their allies are. One of the other things that just sort of baffles me about Overwatch is that after all this time, people still say, where was my team? And of course, it's mostly because they're stupid. They should look around and figure out where their team is. But as a tank, it's really difficult. You're kind of at the front of everybody. You only have a 103-degree field of view, so you literally only see about a quarter of what's going on, assuming there's no walls or anything in the way. And so if your team's all behind you, are they helping you? Are they way behind you? You can kind of keep track of whether they're dead or not. But like, just give me indicators all over the screen. Like, here's where the team is. Like, let me know as the tank. I want to be able to lead my team. I want to know where my team is. It's weird that it's so hard to keep track of your team without developing a sixth Overwatch sense. And like, how about new players? Just tell them where the team is. So another idea, and this is where it starts getting a little more... Some people are really not going to like this. Let tanks kill people from farther away. So let's just make stuff up. First off, Hog's okay at it. You know, Hog creates this sort of sphere of death. He used to be stronger when he could just two-tap people, but it was the sphere of his influence where if he's sitting on the payload, do not get close. Boy, did I respect that as a Moira. If you get in that sphere and he looks at you, you're like, ah, and he'll hook you and kill you. And so he was really strong, but only at that limited sphere. And then past that, you were sort of like, I'm out of your range. You know, let's emote each other. And V1 Mauga, as I mentioned, was really great. You know, Pharah goes bopping through the sky, shooting rockets at you, and you're just like, and you minigun her out of existence. Great. It made Mauga feel really powerful. It also made Mauga so powerful that most of the game was Mauga versus Mauga. If your tank wasn't Mauga, you're like, what are you doing, man? Pick Mauga. Go pay for him. He was super strong, and people picked him. Oh my gosh. Oh, the queue times went down. Oh no. It was great. And I really enjoyed supporting Mauga as Moira. I thought that those were some of the most fun games I ever played. But you couldn't pick another tank because he was the only strong one. But hey, maybe just don't make him the only strong one. Make every tank really strong. That'd be great. Hypothetical, imagine Ryan fire strikes every time he swings. You know, maybe tone it down a little, like 85 damage, but he's just fire striking all the time. And it sounds silly, right? But that would give him some ability to do something against Widow or someone who's peeking, or to shoot at a bridge. It would allow, or a Pharah, it would allow him to do something at distance. It would allow him to get kills. It would make people who wanted like brawl want to queue as tank and pick someone like Ryan, because now they could kill people. They could influence people at a distance. When they're standing on the objective, they don't just have to stand there and do nothing or set up meme pins. It'd give them something to do. So give the tanks some kind of distance influence. Make Ramatra's sand, like, I don't know, homing sand. Why is almost nothing homing in Overwatch? That'd be great. And then another one, this is sort of, maybe this is personal preference. It's near and dear to my heart, but take off tanks out of the tank role. There are too many people who want to queue DPS, and they just say DPS and tank, and they're like, yeah. So if I get tank, I'm picking Doomfist or Hog or Ball, and my team can just go do whatever they want. I don't care. And they're like, what's this objective thing I've heard so much about? Anyways, I'm just going to go fight. And I'm sure you've played with those people. I hope you're not those people. But it's super frustrating to play with those people. I really don't like it. And like, I look at the off tanks, I'm like, why? It's a positional game. It's about objective control. Why is Ball a tank? Why have they done this to us? Aaron Keller, please write a really long blog post justifying why the fastest moving hero in the entire game is a tank. I would love to know, but just take him out of the role, make him DPS. I don't know. Go back to 6v6 and have a flex role, but only the flex role can pick off tanks. I don't know. Just get him out of tank. Make the tanks be actual tanks. Okay, so those are my 7 like legitimate ideas. Now let's get stupid. So here's one that's just silly. Take a tank like, I don't know, Ryan, maybe all the tanks, just make them invincible in the front. Like, you know, maybe the front quarter, front half, or whatever. If they're looking at you, they're just invincible. It requires 2 people to kill them. It gives them huge positional authority. They can just sit on the point. They can face the majority of the enemy team. They cannot be killed. I know it sounds stupid, but just imagine a game that works that way. How would that work? Is it stupid? Or would it be interesting? Or maybe they could do it some of the time. I don't know. It might be worth an experiment. And then the other one, this will probably be the most, I hope it's the most controversial. When an objective changes control or it reaches some state, like if you push the payload to a checkpoint, or if you cap the point in King of the Hill, kill the enemy team. Kill them all. And I know that's going to sound silly. It's like, wait, but why? It's an objective-based game. If I capture the point in King of the Hill, just kill the entire enemy team. I beat them, right? And I know somebody's going to say, well, I like to play Genji, and what if I'm off chasing Mercy all around the entire map trying to kill her, and then the objective changes hands, and then I die? And I'd be like, good, you deserve to die. You deserve it, because you were off deathmatching, and you weren't trying to help people on the objective, and your team lost the objective, and so you lost the team fight, and so you should die. And I mean, I really do feel that way. I think some people would find it frustrating, but also I feel like that would really highlight the point of the game. We're trying to control the objective, right? And we won the team fight. So we won the team fight. Everyone on the enemy team died. You don't have to punish them with the spawn timer. Just return them to the respawn point. It would also have the benefit of force grouping everyone up. Like people in bronze really need that help, right? They don't group unless you make them. And so just kill everyone. And I would love to see that. I would love to see players complain about it and then just get smacked down by the game. And the game's just like, nope, you lost. You were screwing around. You could have helped your team. But anyway, I feel like, so I've given 7 possible things plus 2 stupid ones. And I've never seen them try any of these. And I think it's weird that Aaron Keller wrote this whole post about all the other stuff they've tried to make tank queue times better, to get more people queuing for tank. But they haven't tried to solve the core problem of people don't want to queue for tank because it's not as fun. It's a really frustrating role. And it's like, you make the rules. There's something you can do. Like, make it fun to play tank. I want it to be fun to play tank. I want to have people queue for tank. I want to have people on my team who want to play tank and they want to stand on the objective. I want to queue tank again and play tank again and stand on the objective. It's really fun. And I want to heal those people with Moira. Like, why can't we all be doing that? I don't understand. I don't understand why they're not trying to fix tank being frustrating. Tank should be the most fun role in the whole game. It's the most impactful. And I just wish Blizzard would make tanks more fun to play. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Feel free to disagree with me. I can't see how anyone could possibly disagree with me. I'm pretty sure everything I said was right. But anyway, if you can come up with something, let me know. I want tanks to be great. I want to have more fun playing tank. Anyway, thanks for watching.